What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report. I think both Rein and I have thoughts on that game. That was just kind of weird. It was X-Men versus Asgardians. And Rein, I'm going to give you your first word. What is the first thing that comes to your mind for the game we just played?
I mean, Loki was a champion, first of all. I can't say I'm disappointed in his performance, but I think I really need to pay attention and watch out for that deception, not make it too easy for that round one play. I think with being the smaller party there of the melee short range guys, I need to hang back and maybe defer some of those scrolls early on.
Well, I think what was really interesting about that whole thing as well is that the person who took Loki out was friggin' Mystique. Right?
Yeah.
Like neither of us saw that coming.
Yeah,
right?
I honestly did not expect him to go down round one. I thought that was easily round two. I fully expected him to flip. By that point, I'm kind of hoping that he lasts for another 2 rounds. Round 4, he goes out. I'm happy with that.
I put a lot of resources into him, though, right?
Yeah, for what he had to work with, I think he did good.
And I would definitely say, as long as Loki was on the board, it was really hampering my play. So, I have to admit, with the amount that I was putting into Loki, I was getting to a point, it's like, okay, I think I'm making a mistake here. I think I'm making, this doesn't feel right, but...
And I think that back to the momentum, was that I was not really able to punish you while you were spending that time. I had a window there, and I wasn't able to get too much done in that window.
Yeah, so let's actually quickly talk about that, because there was a series of dice rolls this whole game where, one of us would roll hot and the other person would just completely fluff, right?
Yeah, it was bizarre beyond belief, where it was almost to my detriment that you weren't pushing any damage through to me, but I also wasn't pushing any damage through to you, so I had no power to really start steamrolling through some characters and make up that ground.
I think that's actually a really good point. Thor had maybe, he got 2 4 Asgards in?
Yeah, Thor took 1 point of damage this entire game. And that's bizarre.
I got to admit, I just ignore Thor.
Yeah,
to me, Thor's not worth my time. It's just...
that seemed to be the perfect way to handle him, because he wasn't able to really make you deal with him.
Yeah, and I mean, with Loki, it was just the type of damage that was coming into Loki. It never really gave you an opportune moment for Odin's blessing, right?
Yeah, the intervals of damage and the timing of just how much power I was having on him. Perhaps I needed to not use quite as many I am a gods and really just hope that he has one or two remaining to really fish out that Odin's blessing. But
yeah, no, it was a very fascinating game dice wise, because the person I thought was going to be doing all my work was Logan, and he just faffed about all game, right?
Yeah, you double beamed and got through 1 damage?
Something like it. No, I didn't double beam. I beamed, and then I did the what I do isn't very nice,
right?
Which you sacrificed onto Thor.
And he didn't take any damage from it. I was hoping he would take damage at that point.
I did 1 point of damage on Thor because I happened to make him collide with Danny. And then Danny blocked all the damage that he took from that, right? So that was kind of weird. He really didn't do the damage. Storm got a cheeky thunderbolt or lightning strike in.
Storm and Mystique very early on, just big hits out of people I was completely ignoring.
Yeah. I will say this. I think the thing that actually did the most work for me, though, Honey Badger earned her spot this game.
Honey Badger was a menace that I had to deal with.
Between Ankle Biter and Too Dangerous to Ignore, where she basically just kept saying, it's no, you attack me. Mm-hmm. And then that's where those really weird swingy dice rolls came in. Yeah. Right? She should have gone down about 2 attacks before, and there was just some really swingy stuff. But I gotta say, this is very emblematic of a lot of the games we've played. Right?
Yeah, where it's just a hard fought until suddenly somebody comes out on top.
Something falls down and the dominoes just come into place. I do think that this has probably been our biggest swing between points.
Usually we keep it within 4, I think.
Yeah, usually it's not so big.
I really felt the scenario. The crisis played against me this game, I feel.
Pushing you down to 15, right?
Yeah, pushing me down to 15, and then also it was hard to play this particular scenario with 4 people. I think I should have really dropped Loki and taken a 2 threat to get that 5 wide to be able to maneuver around those cheeky stealing objective plays.
There was a lot to deal with. I mean, we had 4 scrolls and 4 consoles, so there was 8 points on the table at any given time, right? And that did make a big deal. It did give me a slight advantage with, well, I guess I only really had 4 people going myself, because Honey Badger doesn't score, right?
Loki hand delivering the scroll was.
I have to admit that I wasn't expecting you to give me that sort of deception play in there. I was not expecting it.
Yeah, that was completely my bad.
Yeah.
I forgot all about the card at that point.
Now, granted, I wasn't expecting Mystique to do 4 points of damage with 2 pistol shots either, right?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that really came into play, like the consoles allowing me to just keep pushing you away, right?
Yeah, at that point, once I got pushed once with the console, I had so much limit on mobility that either I spend my entire turn just letting you wail on me while I walk around, or I sit there and fight and never get the consoles back.
I do think in round 3, something you could have done a little bit differently is instead of focusing on the fight over here, if you had come back and sort of consolidated on these points back here, because for the longest time I only had 1 scroll, right? Yeah. And you were sitting on 2 scrolls. You had a scroll from Danny and you had a scroll on Valkyrie. So if you'd come back and just forced me to come in and engage with you right here,
yeah,
right, you would have forced me to come to you. You would have had all your tools in one place to deal with me.
I think at that point, though, Danny was behind the building. He was so far out of the action, I was at least hoping that I could group my team up and hold these two.
Who did he get the other scroll from? Who was it?
Danny?
Yeah.
Who
did he pick up the scroll from? Was it Mystique?
Yeah, I think it was Mystique.
Okay. Ooh, hopefully I didn't do it. I didn't pick it up with Honey Badger, did I? I didn't cheat, did I? Oh God.
Maybe.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Have we ruined the game?
Oh no. I'm gonna have to check that out. Hopefully we didn't burn a game here. Uh-oh. I don't think she had the thing, but who did you...
Now you got me wondering. I can't remember.
No, because the scroll that I picked up, Logan picked up, that was the one that... Logan picked up the scroll over here.
Yeah.
The scroll that Danny had was the one that Loki...
It was just sitting on the ground, right?
No, it was the one that Loki had. Because I forced Loki to drop it. And then Danny walked over and picked it up.
Okay.
Because Logan went this way. Okay, I think we're fine. I'm going to review it anyway, but I think we're fine. Oh God.
Yeah, it's all blurred now.
So out of curiosity, you mentioned dropping down and going a bit wider with your team. Who would you have replaced Loki with?
I think I would have gone with Black Widow and then turn Danny into, I guess that would have been Hela?
Okay, that's interesting.
Or no, sorry. No, that wouldn't work. So I had Thor and Valkyrie for 8 threat, and then I had 7 more to work with.
I mean, you could have looked at Heimdall or Scourge for other 3 threats.
Yep.
Like at 15, it's hard because Thor is so expensive, right?
Thor is expensive. The 5-point leadership tax.
I don't know if you're really going more than 4 with Asgard on 15, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because what was it like? If you did Thor, Valkyrie, that's 8.
I would have had to do. I think what we were talking about. I would have had to probably do 2 threats.
Yeah, but at that point, you do 2 threats and
5, 3, 3, 2, 2.
Yeah.
So you would have to be like Valkyrie and Heimdall or
Scourge or Heimdall or something like that. Yeah. And I don't know how much Scourge would have been a bad day for me. I think like he just needs a couple executioner axes and he just kind of calls it, right?
Yeah. So. Scourge can get really sad in games like that though, where if nobody's getting any damage through to him and he's not taking any damage, he's not getting any power.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I think just a rough time for Asgard, and I needed to really focus down somebody, I think, because I may have just spread my damage out a bit too much.
Yeah, that one's a hard one to say because like the dice decided to just do so many weird things.
And the looming threat of exceptional healing was in my head for sure.
I had the same fear with Odin's Blessing, but I mean I was always just chip damaging you, right?
Yeah.
And I never really got enough damage through to really kind of do what I needed to do because even in the end there, Valkyrie had no power left when what's her name? Laura just went into her, right?
Yeah, she was sitting on 0 at that point.
Yeah, so like I had some opportune moments that arise for me, and I was able to take advantage of that, and it was interesting. The heroes of my game were not who I expected. The biggest threats to me, well, your Iron Fist was always looming, and then when he just kind of petered down, right?
That Iron Fist fizzle hurt a lot too. I think if I could start pressuring Logan and make you kind of question where you want to go, just to try and not lose him early on would have been a big deal. Also swinging that point off of him.
There was the 2 moments, I think. There was the Iron Fist moment, and then there was the 4 Asgard into...
Mystique, where it is 0 damage and no throw on 2 attacks.
Yeah, and she just tanked it all, and she's like, wow, like, it's... Well, because I think Honey Badger did 2 dangers to ignore on that one.
Twice actually.
Twice, yeah. And Honey Badger.
I killed Mystique with I got lucky with the throw.
Yeah, that's right. You threw a building.
I got some redemption there by just tossing a building.
Yeah, you threw a building at her and called it a day there.
But the most damage I did was really just through terrain throws.
It was crazy. Like, this was definitely a game where nobody was spiking hard and momentum just kind of slowly shifted. But yeah. I think we've said what we have to say about the game.
It was a fun game regardless.
I always have fun rolling dice with you, man. And you know what? I know you're going to come back and you're probably going to wipe the floor with me in the next game we play. Because that seems to be how it goes, back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, we take our turns.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we'll see you on the channel again. Otherwise, we'll see you around. And to everyone else watching, if you want to support the channel, hit up the Patreon link below in the description. And we will see you next time. Happy board gaming.